Brother, it is great to see you, and I love the fact that you have a guest with us. Who is this handsome young man?
This is my 9-month-old boy. His name is Rain.
Oh my goodness, he's already singing. I love this.
Computer.
Oh my goodness, man. He
He's gonna
is
steal the show. Yeah.
of course, man. He is adorable. How's it been for you, man, being a dad?
Oh, it's great, man. Like I'm blessed to have a pretty good boy. I'm joking. He's awesome. Mom is great. Mom's healthy. They're both healthy. We're happy. He's learned how to point. He's got and I'm watching him. Mama's doing some stuff upstairs, so I thought it'd be only fair if I took the reins on him for a little bit.
Oh man, I'm so glad you invited him on this, man. Like I said, he's good. When he gets older, he's definitely going to be a lady killer, man. And I'm just curious. Do you think he's going to take after Dad when it comes to music?
I just hope that he does whatever it is that he wants. We hear he's got his electronic drum kit that's ready for him. He got all the guitars are here for him. He's allowed. He really loves guitar. Whenever I'm playing, he's always like on it, and he loves playing with them. He knows how to strum already with his hand, and he's into it. So I mean, if he wants to, I will help. Point him in the right directions and stuff. But whatever he feels like doing, as long as he's a good person, and yeah. As long as he's good to his mama, that's all that matters.
Just like Dad. I love this, man. Look, how is it that you can, take care of such a beautiful child, a beautiful wife, and still create beautiful and great music? Because that's what we're going to be talking about. Because you got some new releases happening here. How are you balancing all this?
I remember I used to live in this apartment building, and I remember seeing this dude. He'd always be out there with his dog, walking his dog for the morning walk, and I always say hi to him. And then like I remember a few months later, I saw him with a newborn
Hmm.
and the dog, and hey man, how's it going? Congrats, all that stuff. Go on my way. A few months later, I remember seeing him and the dog, the baby, and then he had a puppy. And I was like walking by him. I'm like, hey man, what's up? And I walk by and I'm like, I just can't let this go. I need to understand. Like, what would? And I went back. I'm like, hey man, congrats on everything. This is great, but what would possess you to get a puppy? Because if you've had a puppy or a kitten, there's a lot of training that's going on. They're basically like babies that don't grow up, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what would possess you to get the newborn? Like, how are you doing this? He's like, well, the wife wanted the puppy to grow up with the babies, so they grew up together. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I'm like, how do you do this? Like, how do you handle all this stuff? He's like, you just do it. You just do it. You just do the things that you love to do and just do them. So I mean, I've chosen a life where I do the things that I love,
Hmm.
and I just do them. What to me, it's not like things. I mean, it's all every day. There's things that you got to do. Like I got to do this. You got to go grocery shopping. But if you approach it with like a sense of love at the end of the day, like I love him, I love my wife, I love music, so it's not an issue to be able to do all these things. I love doing it.
Has it been tougher though because of COVID and everything that's been going on with the pandemic?
Yeah, it's been kind of nice though to be insular. Like my wife was pregnant through all the lockdowns, so it was
Hmm.
kind of nice. We just like we kind of recognize that we'll never kind of have this situation ever again. Hopefully, like knock on wood, that we'll never be
Yeah.
locked down again, right? But like it was like this is our first baby. This first time you're pregnant. This first time we're both experiencing this, and we're like locked into our own little cocoon here. So
Hmm.
it was just we took it as like a cool thing that we'll never be able to experience again. Because if when and if we have another one, exactly, sir. When and if we have another one, it's not going to be the same. We've already gone through it, so we just took it as a cool experience and we just reveled in it and just absorbed it every day, and we were happy with it. Yeah,
All
but it was
right.
it was interesting. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's get through this, man, because you got a new release happening. What is the new music called, and how's it representing your life right now, my friend?
Well, the album's called Second Arrow, and it's an old Buddhist saying, which is like basically what it boils down to is not shooting the second arrow into the first wound that the first arrow was shot into.
Interesting.
Right. So what it kind of entails is like if someone has caused you harm or situation has given you pain or whatever, that's the first arrow that's been shot into you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you going over it again and again and thinking about it and playing it over in your head and thinking about how I could have done it this way or what I could have said or I should have done this, that's you shooting the second arrow into the same wound. And Buddha would always say, why would you shoot another arrow into the same wound? You have to let yourself heal, let go of these things, right? So that's what the second arrow is. It's also my second album, so it kind of fit. But it was kind of all those things. Like I had a friend, a local musician that I stayed with down in Nashville, Canadian dude, and he's no longer with us. He kind of we lost him during the pandemic and stuff, and so it was kind of he was kind of one of those guys that was kind of dealing with depression and stuff. So it was kind of like a note to him as well, like not to shoot that second arrow into yourself. But unfortunately, he did, and so it's a reminder to all of us to bad things happen. Yes, acknowledge them, learn from them, move on. You have to move on from these things, or else all you're doing is shooting that second arrow into yourself.
It's funny when you said it because I'm glad you told us the story. I'm very sorry about your friend. But it sounds like, again, what the world has been going through during the pandemic and in some ways even going through now with the things that are going on in the world.
Yeah, I mean, like you can look around and the world can be terrible or it can be beautiful, right? And there are terrible things that happen even when it's beautiful. All the time, everywhere, all around us, no matter what, wars, famine, people are dying all the time. People are suffering all the time. So, how do you deal with that? How do you live? I mean, at most of us, what we can do is affect our small circle and make that a positive, beautiful thing. And hopefully that moves out into concentric circles further and further out, right? But I think you have to start in your home, start with yourself, start with those around you that you love, and that hopefully spirals out. Like, if I have him and I have another child and I raise them that same way, and hopefully they spread that out more and more with their families and their friends and so on and so forth. I mean, that's all we can do, right? Like, I'm not down with war of any kind, but they happen. And I have no control over stopping them. But what I can do is promote peace for myself and others and love for others.
Absolutely. You spread that love through music, man. I know you got shows coming up. I think you got one March 30th as we speak.
March 30th with my good friend Kunle. We're sharing the bill. Kunle is a fantastic Nigerian singer-songwriter. Man, he's like a ray of sunshine every time he plays. He just makes me happy every time. And he's also playing percussion with me. That night he's sitting in with me in the band, and then his band is closing out the night. He's got a fantastic 5-piece band. And if you don't leave that room smiling ear to ear, we're not going to give you your money back, but I'll give you a hug anyways.
Oh, man, always worth that. Look, I'm going to let you go because it looks like he really wants to move. Like, he keeps going after. It looks like he's going after the instruments.
Yeah, man. Like, watch. Here, watch. Rain. Oh.
Oh, sorry. I disturbed his performance.
Look, he's strumming. Good boy. Very cool. Great.
Oh, man.
That was awesome.
Fantastic. By the way, do you know your daddy is the godfather of Toronto indie music? Do you know that's what he's known as? You are the son.
This drumming technique. That's pretty good.
Oh, man. You know what? You know what's going to be great? And hopefully I'll still be doing it when he gets older. I'm going to be able to interview him. For everything that he's going to be doing, man.
Mortified. He'll be mortified that this happened. He'll be like, I can't believe my dad put me on camera. Like, what are you doing, Dad? Like, eyes and stuff. How could you do that? You embarrass me. All that kind of stuff. We'll get to the guitar. Rudy, man, I always thank you for your time, man. I know you're a busy man, and I appreciate you so much and everything that you do for Toronto music. And man, I don't think you're celebrated enough. So thank you for all that you do, man. And thank you for the time. And anybody that wants to know anything about me, NelsonSobralmusic.com is the gateway. You can find all the stuff. And please support Rudy in all his ventures. This man does way too much for music and doesn't get the appropriate, response. I feel like you should get way more than you do, brother.
Man, I much appreciate it. Look, give the wife a big hug for me
I
too.
will. I will.
Give him a big hug for me also. We'll definitely see each other. Do what I can to see if I can make it down to the show on the 30th, man. But all
Guest
the
list, my
best
friend. You're on the
to
guest
you
list.
and the family. Thanks, man.
So much, brother. All the best, Rudy.